House January 6th committee has formally withdrawn its subpoena of former President Donald Trump. Let's go right to NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles to get some more. What can you tell us about this, Ryan? Because this just went down.
Yeah, and Alex, we do believe that this is kind of just a logistical issue. The January 6th committee basically clearing its deck as it wraps up its work. But we do know that the committee did send a letter to the lawyer that was representing the former President Donald Trump in this particular instance, which was the subpoena request, and said to the lawyer that the committee was no longer in need and was no longer going to attempt to enforce the subpoena, basically because the committee's work is all done. They've held all their hearings. They've issued their final report. So kind of just the logistical process of continuing to seek a subpoena request from Donald Trump isn't practical. So therefore, they have withdrawn the subpoena. Now, there's likely a reason for doing this because there was a pending lawsuit that Trump's attorneys had filed against the committee to try and prevent this subpoena from being enacted. So that's why they're closing the book on this. Now, the lawyer that was representing the former president, at least her law firm, Harmeet Dillon, she is currently a candidate to become the next chair of the Republican National Committee. She's challenging the current chair, Ronna McDaniel. It's not expected that she's going to be successful in that challenge, but she has been very active in her attempts to campaign against McDaniel. She was bragging on Twitter about the committee withdrawing its subpoena, saying this was a huge legal victory for her and her team in their efforts to prevent what she called an illegitimate subpoena. It is important to point out, though, Alex, that the courts never ruled on this. It never really got to that stage, and it was really just a timing issue. Now, you can ask a legitimate question about the timing of this because the committee chose not to subpoena the former president until the very end of their investigation. The subpoena didn't come down until the middle of October, so it never seemed like truly a practical request on the part of the committee. But nonetheless, it's going to never happen. Trump is never going to answer this subpoena. He's going to face no consequences for not responding to the subpoena because the committee has officially withdrawn that request.
I picked MSNBC because it's just so fun to watch. They're like, this just in, what do we do with this? Oh, well, obviously it's just a timing issue. I mean, logistics issue, but there's a lawsuit also, which is probably, it's Trump's fault because he filed a lawsuit. So then they just gave up. Really? They gave up? Why did they give up? Why did they subpoena him in October? Why did they wait so long? Even the MSNBC guy is like, well, you could question it because, they did wait a long time. Spin, spin, spin.